got addicted. And once you became addicted, it became like a drug, and it's so difficult to get out of it. Yeah, it almost consumed me, and that would never have done, because I never would have got to this point where I am, where I'm speaking to you right now. Yeah, horrible period. Now, as this channel has shown, I am a bit of a racing game fanatic. But this isn't really where it started. It started a lot earlier than that, and even started before my karting career had even begun. It all started out with a small console, and that was all the way back in the 90s. You could probably guess how old I am by now, can't you? The gaming journey started around about 1995, 1996 with the SNES and a couple of games. One of them was Stunt Race FX, which was one of the first games to have the Super FX chip. I believe Star Fox was the first one to have done it. Now, that chip made the SNES games have some 3D properties. This was the generation before 3D gaming became the thing. It wasn't the best game, admittedly, because its frame rate was pretty rubbish and it was quite small, but it was compact, it was fun, and trying to get fast times in the game would spark an interest in me that would bore fruition down the line. Between that and my actual start of my career, I had an interest in Gran Turismo and the F1 series, which were both PlayStation series, which was around about 1997. Now, these games were fun, but at the same time I was pretty rubbish at it, because, hey, 8-year-old me, don't know what you're doing most of the time, and you're just playing for fun. It was even worse when I tried a different category. My main category was racing games, and it still is. Whenever I tried a platform game like Super Mario Bros., that was the All-Star Edition, which had Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels, which was the Japanese exclusive game, because us Westerners were judged for not being good enough to even play that version of the game, which is where Super Mario Bros. 2 came along. Yeah, get that idea. Yeah, you could say I was a bad player. Sonic the Hedgehog, which wasn't all the way until 1999 when it was Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, yeah, that was even worse. Platforming was hard enough as it is, and trying to play a fast character and trying to platform at the same time, yeah, not a good equation to say the least. Yeah, that series, well, we'll carry on a little bit, because that does have some repercussions down the line. F-Zero hadn't even entered the equation until 2002, 2003. 2002 was when F-Zero GX was being developed and I got an interest in it. We fast forward actually to the summer of 2003, where a bad decision, I went to the theatre, yeah, theatre stuff, and valuables left out in the car, you're out for a couple of hours, yeah, you can probably guess by now, 2 and 2 came together, you could probably guess what happened. Let's just say I was without a Game Boy Advance, and a load of documents went missing afterwards, which were, well, we'd never got them back. Lesson learned. Somewhat. Don't leave your valuables on show, because you can say goodbye. There's a reason why there's a campaign regarding this. So I had to go and get another GBA, and the game I got instead was F-Zero Maximum Velocity, which was the GBA version of F-Zero, the first of 3 games on the Game Boy Advance. And something about that game clicked with me. And I found the competitive site, F-Zero Central, and started submitting times there. Steadily improving, and when GX came out, which was about 2 or 3 months later, I started submitting there as well. I continued doing that until the website shut down at some point in 2004, I think it was early 2004, and Mr. Fix-It Online would fill the void for, well, a number of years. GB Legend, which was the anime tie-in game, which I didn't even know was a thing until 2004, June 2004. And then X, which was the N64 version, would be added to the roster at the end of the same year, 2004, for those who are not really paying attention. Both of those decisions were my better ones, as I became a legend on one, and the latter, it became my most rounded game. Around about the same time, and then heading into 2005, I found Cyber School, which is a big general gaming website catered to the competitive side of multiple games, not just one series. It was also where my ill-fated attempt in the Sonic series happened. Yeah, we don't really speak too much about that, but it ties into the karting aspect and why I was struggling with that. Let's just say I was trying to find my own path. I haven't got there yet. So in terms of the Sonic series, it was Adventure 2, Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog. The middle game was actually my best one. The latter one was actually probably the worst playing, even though I was actually decent at it. Well, the glitches, well, they ruined the competitive aspect for it. Mind you, that is a running theme in the Sonic gaming series. Glitches. They ruin the aspect. Instead of doing the conventional way, you can just skip half the level, skip another half, skip that bit, yeah, and you finish the line instead of going through it all the way through the traditional way, the conventional way. Mind you, you could say the same thing about any game in any series nowadays, with the way everybody just does things. Just take Grand Theft Auto, for example. You could just mess about with the save states, and then you can, well, do something which the game wasn't designed to. Oh well, each to their own, I suppose. It was also during that period, that same period, during the karting stage, that time, yeah, well, I just hadn't found my purpose yet. And as it turned out to be something that I didn't particularly like too much. The trouble was, as I already touched upon in the karting chapter, the previous one, that it all came together as a toxic cocktail, and I saw the gaming side of it as an escape from that. And I got addicted, and once you became addicted, it became like a drug, and it's so difficult to get out of it. Yeah, it almost consumed me, and that would never have done, because I never would have got to this point where I am, where I'm speaking to you right now. Yeah, horrible period. F-Zero X, GP Legend, and the Japanese-only game Climax, which actually I didn't get until 2007, along with Sonic Heroes, were my stronger games. Although the very latter, I do actually regret, as the glitches, which I've already mentioned, made my efforts a bit worthless. Even though I'm relatively decent at the game during the period, yeah, it's not something I would want to go back on. A lot of the mistakes were actually down to me not really understanding myself. It's a bit of a common theme there, isn't it? Yeah, I got caught up in a few things. It just built up, and then when it builds up, the house of cards come down, and you're back in square one. It was a tough period, tough decisions. I learned from it, and we move on. I still do the odd competitiveness nowadays, but it's really down to limited, mainly down to time. I'm getting on quite a bit, and there aren't actually that many games now out there that you can just say, I want to be the fastest person in there. My time has passed on that. Still do the odd stuff on the F-Zero side and the Smash Brothers side, but that's really about it. At my peak, I was in multiple series, so the aforementioned Sonic, F-Zero, Donkey Konga, you know, the big you bang the bongos on the GameCube. Yeah, that was a thing. I wasn't very good at it though. Mario Tennis, that was another one. Bit of a Mario series in general, actually. So yeah, it was one of those general sort of things that you want to do. You just want to do it, because I had ambitions to be like one of the top all-round gamers. But then I've realised there's more to life than being an all-round gamer. You know the saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none. And I'd rather be the master of one trade than be a jack of all. It's a bit of a strange way that life goes. Sometimes it works out in the office side or the work side, but for the gaming, it's not really the sort of thing I would go for nowadays. I still play the odd times, as I mentioned. The F-Zero, F-Zero 99, which is something a little bit later on down the line. And yeah, just about it really, isn't it? Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Still do the odd record breaking. I used to do it on Century Smash, on Smash Ultimate, which is actually another running theme. Century Smash was one of those things that had been from Melee. I didn't do Smash for Wii U because I just wasn't interested in the mode. But it came back to Ultimate, one of the best players, one of the best all-rounders. But yeah, it's not something I can get back easily though. I'd rather done something a little bit better, but once you get inside, you want to do better, it becomes addictive. You want to get better because the drive makes you get better. But then you get to a point of, yeah, I am reaching my peak here and I don't think I can do it much further. But I did learn quite a bit of it. My hand coordination skills got better for it, so there's something. Although sport-wise, that actually works out fine. In terms of hand coordination, you still need to do the driving thing. My driving's still relatively decent, even though I'm getting on a little bit. Still focus on the Gran Turismo side just to keep myself occupied on the competitive front. But that's really about it nowadays. So, yeah, blabbing on a little bit. That's what I do, just to try and fill something. Do I regret doing Gran Turismo? No. Do I regret doing Sonic? Yes, of course I do regret it. Do I regret F-Zero? No, I don't. In fact, the F-Zero community was actually one of those that, was able to see past me being a complete idiot in a lot of situations and put up with me for most of it. So, yeah, I'm quite grateful for that. So, with a rather impromptu viewpoint, I was going on a script, but most of the time I was improvising. You get an idea of what my gaming life was like at the very beginning and what you had to do to navigate through the early stages of it, making sure you balance your priorities as always you're gaming. Yeah, it's a hard balance. You get better through time, but as a youngster like I was, I didn't have that balance. But there we go. Sometimes it be like that. Now, going back to the F1 side, my motor racing interests. There are 3 drivers in the current field that I've always had a soft spot, and it's not because they were British. It was because I saw them go through the path to Formula 1 with my own 2 eyes. Yeah, that's right. Alex, George and Lando. Those 3, they were growing up and they were karting when I was. But I shall not say any more, or else I'll be spoiling the next chapter.